All right, good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late, but we'll get rolling. So I'll call this meeting of the Lake County E911 Authority to order. It's 10:10 on December 5th, 2025. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? No. I would like to change item number 3 just to clarify the language on it, that it's not only just a discussion item, but a discussion and consideration for the amendment to the budget.
Oh, sure.
So, if there's no other changes, make a motion to approve today's agenda. I make a motion.
I'll second.
No further discussion. All right, all in favor? Approving, all right, okay.
Sorry, I got ahead of you.
Somebody's in a hurry. Okay, move on to director reports. I'll start off. I don't have anything. So I'll move down the line. No, Sarah?
Sorry, I couldn't find my mouse. The only report I have is I got the quote for Power DMS, which is basically an online platform where we can track trainee progress, CTO progress, trainings. We can also put all of our SOPs into that platform. It's a really awesome program. I've used it both as a trainee and as a trainer. And it's really, really beneficial to both. It cuts our CTO's documentation time in half, but it has to have approval from both the trainee and the trainer. And if there's issues, it can get escalated. But it's a great way to document everything that they've done in their training, such as you've taken 5 out of 6 traffic stops. You've reviewed our SOPs. It's a great tracking form for that. There's some new things with it since I've last used it, so we can actually tie it into our current CAD system, so we can upload that call into the trainer or into the trainee's form, and then we can also start training and tracking our actual dispatchers, like our CTO's program. So when they go through training, we can document all of that as well. So I did send that over to the sheriff. It is just over $10,000 for 2 years. The first year is more expensive. That's just the initial startup costs. So that is about $6,500, and then every year after that, it's just over $4,000.
Awesome. Did they send us a contract too?
He sort of. He was waiting for the board to give approval. I've got a meeting with him on Wednesday next week to give him that update. But he did say he could start it with a start date in January for the 2026 budget.
Okay. Yeah, if we can get all that information sent over to us, just so we can get it all reviewed, and maybe we can make that an agenda item for January to look at that and approve it.
Okay, sounds good. I can do that.
Cool. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, seeing there's nobody here to join us, we'll move on past public comment and move on to new business and discussion. And our first item number 1, is a report from Jackie with the E911 solution. So Jackie, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna share my report. I need that enabled, or I can email it to somebody. Oh, there we go. Wait.
Yeah.
Nope, it's disabled.
Try it now, Jackie.
Aha. There we are. Can you guys see that okay? All right. So far we got the contract signed. Thank you. But I did gather all the telephone provider names. I scanned all the available 24 and 2025 remittance statements. That's the statements that tells you how much each company is remitting and how many lines they're reporting. I met with Sarah to determine needs for budgeting, and Sarah and I will need to schedule another meeting. I haven't done that yet. And in 2025, there were 44 providers remitting the emergency telephone charge to Lake County. A few of them are only remitting on a quarterly basis and possibly an annual basis. And so I will be sending notices to them that state statute requires them to remit monthly, even though it's a 2-month behind. So they have 60 days to remit for the present month. So they're always in arrears by 2 months. I did send the notifications to increase your surcharge from the 212 to 217, which is a 2.3% increase in your surcharges. And I sent that out on December 2nd, which gives them the 60 days to go into effect by February 1. Okay. And I will be checking the issue with being able to check is I won't be able to check until April or May, the beginning of May, really, to see if they've increased their surcharges. So in May, I will definitely be coming back to get all the remittances gathered so that we can make sure that they've increased their surcharges. And if they haven't, I will then also notify them that they need to do this. Sometimes it's an ongoing little back and forth between the telephone providers. The tariff amendment for geospatial routing did go into effect November 3rd. And it will increase the cost for your 911 lines, 152.49 per month. I think you guys have 2 concurrent sessions or 3.
I'm not sure.
Sarah, do you know?
I don't know, but I can look into it.
I'll find out. But anyway, it'll increase your monthly billing from CenturyLink for your 911 lines. The state surcharge was increased in October to cover this cost. So it's the statewide surcharge that reimburses you for the 911 lines. So it will increase to cover that extra charge. The other thing you will probably need with the GIS routing is we will need to make sure we have good PSAP boundary GIS layer. And that if it differs from your actual county, then we'll need to do something different. But if it's the same as your actual county, that's what they will need to move forward with the geospatial routing for GIS. There was a company hired to make sure those boundaries are all correct. And so all we have to do is submit the PSAP boundaries. Let's see. And then I went into a little bit of legislation. They're trying to clarify the definition of prepaid wireless because a company protested to DOR, who collects those surcharges. And their advice letter said that the definition does not meet their business model. And so they are not required to pay. And so we're trying to update the definition of prepaid wireless to meet what they currently do versus what they did 15 years ago when the legislation was first written. That legislation will also help with 988 and TRS surcharges because they all follow the same definition. We do have a sponsor and it is in drafting at this moment. The state is also trying to find funding for the digital trunked radio system. And some members of Congress feel that the funding should come from some of the 911 funding. And we've been trying to educate the legislators on the use of our 911 funding and to let us have the 911 funding and come up with another way to support financially the DTRS system. And I will be sending you an email, Sarah, about a letter of authority for line counts and cell site data, because we talked about getting your cell site data.
Awesome, thank you.
And that's where I am so far.
Great.
Are there any questions?
If you want any help with on the legislative front, I'd be happy to go down and testify to anything. And that would help our overall mission, so.
Awesome.
And I've caught you a couple times in our treasurer's office swimming through piles of paper, so thanks for doing all that. How are we looking for 25 on remittance?
We're looking all right, but I don't really have anything to compare it to. I have 24 and 25. Okay. And it looks okay. I would love to find 23 because to kind of compare, to make sure that, the comparison. And so we're looking pretty good. It looks like everybody's paying. I would like to, and I probably will in this process, send out a more broad email to all the providers to make sure they check that they're paying properly to Lake County. Just because, sometimes they might be remitting everything to one county instead of remitting where they should and don't know that, where to remit. So I will probably do like a whole big email, which is always fun, but that just says to all the companies, Lake County expects this. And I will bring to the next board meeting, probably a remittance form that I would like to see them use. The remittance form kind of standardizes everything. And because one of the things I noticed on the remittance forms is they don't provide a telephone number or a current email. And that makes it really difficult to follow up if there is an issue. And so I did ask in my email to make sure they include a current email and phone number on their remittance statements.
Okay, great. I like it.
Yep.
Any questions for Jackie?
No, thanks for doing all that, Jackie. That's awesome.
You're welcome. And I will, sorry about the late in the report. I will shoot the report to you so you have it for your agenda, your minutes.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Sounds good. All right, move on to item number 2, discussion on personnel budget by Sarah.
Yeah, so kind of talked it through with the sheriff the other day when he was showing me all his fun numbers that he's done for dispatch. And I think right now we're going to hold off probably until 2027 to adjust Sarah Keenan's position because she's showing as a full-time in the budget, but we're not budgeting her at a full-time rate. We're still budgeting her at that part-time. And then I'm hopeful to try to get the supervisor positions posted by the end of February. When that happens, if Daniela or Mary end up getting those positions, and that opens up the other full-time positions for dispatch. So as of right now, I think our personnel budget is fine for the rest of the year, just looking at that. I did get another email today. We've got another applicant that has applied for full-time. So we've got 3 applicants in the hiring process right now. 2 of them have already been sent the critical test. So checking to see if they've got that completed, and then we can start looking to move people from there.
Thanks. Yeah. So we talked about Sarah using those different positions for part-time use.
Yep.
Splitting positions and whatnot.
On the personnel, they talked about switching the actual shifts up. Sarah, is that gonna have any effect on the budget by doing that when you put that in the new schedule?
Yeah. So the only effect it'll have on the budget is cutting our overtime down. So we will be switching to a 40-hour work week. It does put it about 20 hours a month minimum for overtime. That's not including covering shifts or if people call out sick or if we have to pull in an additional dispatcher for, any type of event or anything. But it should roughly cut our overtime base in half. And we do switch at the beginning of January. That first week, we go to our 10-hour schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Any questions for Sarah? All right, we'll move on to item 3 is discussion and consideration to amend the 2026 budget. And I just realized I forgot to send that to the VOCC email, so let me do that real quick so you guys can see it. So while that's being sent, what happened was we approved the budget And then I got with Will and County Finance to finalize the numbers to make sure we were down to the penny correct. And what we missed were a couple small items on personnel, so there's a health savings account that one employee has that we need an account for, and then it's automatically applied to two of the vacancies. And so what this does is it adjusts some of the benefits, and so we weren't to the penny anymore. It was a little over a $2,000 difference. So I attached both items. The one on the right is what we went through and approved last time, and then the one on the left is the new one, and we can go through those changes. And then we essentially have two options on how we manage that. Okay, so this is the one that we're looking to approve today as the amended budget. So if you go down to expenditures, we'll start off with those changes there. The first one is the salaries and wages. And so this is where the three health savings accounts were not accounted for in the first budget, so it increased it by $900. And with some rounding, it's actually $900 and one penny. So we got that updated, so it's precisely what the county has. And then FICA was adjusted by $977.73. So this one represents that change. And then Medicare went up $228.67. Again, this one represents that change. And then the final one was the unemployment went up $31.54. So it's a total of $2,137.95 that increased from what we approved. But now we're in alignment with the county numbers, and so this is the budget that I'm proposing that we have approved today. There are two options essentially, if you scroll back up to how we handle this from a revenue standpoint. We talked about and approved using our fund balance to balance our budget, which was at $230,000. This option here represents that coming from the fund balance, so that's where the extra $2,137.95 comes from. There's also an option where we split this in the IGA payment, and those numbers would increase for each one of our agencies to pay out. So again, this is the one I'm recommending where we don't change the intergovernmental agreement payment, because I believe at this point, all our agencies are pretty set on the amounts listed there. And if we change those up, I think that would be, doable, I'm guessing at this point, but it's kind of final hour, last minute to make an adjustment on what those payments are expected to be. And there's still, we do our best to predict what 2026 will look like, but we could still end up in the positives if we don't hire all the positions we're trying to hire. And so for me, it makes sense to say that if we're off that $2,137.95, that we use the overage we have in our current fund balance to absorb that if we end up needing to. So, any questions?
Would that deplete your fund balance from 911?
Yep, we pre-planned to deplete it by $230,000 if we hit all our expenditure numbers. And so this increases that depletion by another $2,000 and a little over $2,000. Again, and that's if we hit those expenditure numbers that we planned for. And the big question as we roll into 26 is we currently have 4 vacancies, so.
Okay, so you'd still have roughly 230 in fund balance.
Oh, no, we would have, I think, I don't remember the exact number, actually.
Yeah, that doesn't deplete their fund.
No, it depletes it down
It
to,
reduces it,
yeah,
sorry.
a level that we agreed on to run it for 3 months or something.
Yeah, and not even that much, we left more in there in case we wanted to roll over into 27, but it looks like, if everything lines up, we'd still have $571,000 in our fund balance, which is, probably, 5.5, 6 months worth of expenditures.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Since we're talking numbers, did we account for the 152.49 on the phone lines? And how is that covered? Do we have a buffer in that, in a line item?
No, so that's a new number for us, but, Jackie, you were saying that the state charges are adjusting, so that's covered?
That's correct.
So, yeah.
You will, and I'll get with you guys. I was thinking about that the other day. Just send me who to send this information to, and we'll figure out which bill it goes to so that
Okay.
it's properly reflected in your budget. But yes, it will increase, but then on the other end, the revenue you receive from the state should cover it.
Okay. But no, we didn't add that into an expense and a revenue item. And Kansas County still set to approve the budget for the 11th,
Yes.
which is next Tuesday,
So the 16th?
I think it's Thursday.
Thursday, okay, but next week.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's on the 11th, whatever day of the week. More, I think it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that for all budgets, Candace, or?
Mhm.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, when we
I
have
the
to,
16th.
we have to adopt our budget statutorily before the 15th, and I think the 15th is on the weekend.
Yeah,
Well, what time's that meeting?
It is at 9 AM, 9 to 1.
Thank you.
all right, any other questions on this? No. All right. I'll make a motion to amend our 2026 budget.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I-
All right, move on to approval of minutes. We have November minutes that were shared. Any questions on those? No. Jeremiah, thanks for doing those.
Yeah, of course.
Make a motion to approve the minutes in November.
Second that one.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor of approving November minutes?
Aye.
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 All right, next meeting, first Friday is January 2nd. Wanted to ask you guys if we should move that to January 8th, if there's gonna be a lot of people out of town for that holiday break, school's out. Are we all good for the 2nd still?
It's fine with me.
Yeah, works for me also.
I might be remote.
Okay,
I'm not too.
Actually, it might not be me.
I know.
Right, when does he come, the 12th, I've heard, is that correct?
Yeah,
12th,
Okay,
okay.
all right. So we might have a new board member then.
I don't know what the process is to do that, but you just tell me what
I
we
will.
need to do, and
I will.
we'll do
It's
it.
fairly easy, so, okay. All right, we'll stick with January 2nd then as our next meeting, and even though it's late, we're still getting this closed out quickly for everyone, so I appreciate everybody's patience waiting for me, and we'll adjourn this meeting at 10:34 a.m. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Is that a record?
I think so.
24 minutes?
And then you gotta pause the recording.